She actually thought she could snatch my decoration, right in front of my driveway. My voice shook with disbelief as Karen stormed toward my lawn, her HOA clipboard raised like a weapon of war. Her perfectly coiffed hair bounced with every angry step, oblivious to the growing crowd of neighbors gathering on their porches. If you love powerful stories, you don't want to miss this. But before we continue, tell us where you are watching from. It makes us happy to see how far our stories travel. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Karen's face twisted in fury when she saw my Halloween display, a massive, intricately carved pumpkin tower, glowing eerily in the twilight. This violates HOA regulations, she barked, her voice cracking under her own rage. I stepped closer, calm, holding a laminated copy of the HOA bylaws. Funny, I said. I read page 12. You'll notice it doesn't mention anything about pumpkins. She blinked. A tiny pause. But then, fueled by pure ego, Karen lunged forward, trying to yank the top pumpkin off. In a move that would make action movie stunt coordinators proud, I sidestepped, and the pumpkin tumbled, landing perfectly on her clipboard. Papers scattered, her cheeks burned crimson, and the neighbors couldn't stop laughing. But the best part? One of them, Mr. Jenkins, pulled out his phone, filming. Smile, Karen, you're viral now, he chuckled. Her hands trembled as she realized her meltdown wasn't private anymore. The audacity of trying to confiscate someone's decoration and getting caught in cinematic justice had never looked so sweet. The crowd cheered. Karen, mortified, backed off, muttering threats while I stood there victorious, pumpkin in hand, savoring the poetic justice of a quiet, perfectly executed comeback. Karen stormed back to her car, muttering darkly, but the neighbors weren't done with the show. I noticed little Missy from next door whispering to her brother, and suddenly my mailbox, a perfect replica of a haunted house, was decorated with Karen's face drawn in glitter and googly eyes. I hadn't done it. Yet. The universe had. Karen spun around, pointing. Who did this? Her voice cracked like a wet balloon. I just smiled, sipping my iced tea, calm as the sunset reflected off my pumpkin tower. Then came the plot twist. Mr. Jenkins, still filming, leaned over and casually said, Funny, Karen, all your HOA complaints are now being posted online. Everyone in the neighborhood can see them. Her eyes widened. Panic replaced rage. The crowd erupted in laughter when Karen's phone buzzed. Notifications flooding in from neighbors, strangers, even the local HOA group chat. Every threatening email she'd sent over the past month popped up on screens across the street. It was like watching a soap opera written by karma itself. Trying to regain control, Karen stomped toward my yard again, but the pumpkin tower had a new addition, a hidden motion sensor that triggered spooky lights and a cackling witch sound effect. She froze mid-step, hair slightly singed from static sparks, and stumbled back, tripping over her own feet. The neighbors were rolling now, some doubled over, some recording, all witnessing the crescendo of humiliation. I leaned on the fence, eyes twinkling, as Karen scrambled to reclaim her dignity that was now scattered across my lawn like confetti. The sweetest revenge? She had underestimated patience, planning, and a little theatrical justice. The legend of HOA-Karen and the Great Pumpkin Defeat had officially begun. Karen wasn't done. Oh no, she charged at my yard again, red-faced and steaming, like a cartoon villain who had finally snapped. But this time the universe and I had upgraded the defenses. As she stormed forward, the motion sensor pumpkins lit up with a synchronized flash, blindingly bright, paired with a booming boo that echoed like a haunted mansion scream. She froze. Her HOA clipboard flew from her hands as she flailed, desperately trying to shield her eyes. Neighbors were on their porches, laughing hysterically, phones out. Little kids pointed and shouted, "It's Karen! She's scared of the pumpkins." Her rage bubbled into incoherence. Every step she took backward, she tripped over strategically placed garden gnomes I had subtly repositioned earlier. Each tumble was filmed, each glare immortalized. Karma had upgraded her punishment into a full-blown spectacle. Then came the sweetest twist. As she scrambled to flee, her heel caught a hose, sending a cascade of water over her pristine blouse. The sunlight caught the droplets, turning her into a sparkling, drenched mess. She looked like a villain in a tragicomic play, furious, humiliated, and utterly powerless. I strolled over holding my iced tea, calm as ever. Karen, I said, next time maybe read the bylaws before trying to steal someone's Halloween joy. The neighbors cheered. Phones recorded, laughter echoed, and for the first time in HOA history, Karen became a viral cautionary tale. The moral? Ego has consequences, theatrics backfire, and quiet, well-planned comebacks taste sweeter than candy corn. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Karen's meltdown had reached legendary status, but the universe wasn't done with her yet. Just as she tried to retreat to her car, the HOA president, ironically another Karen, rolled up beside her with a smirk, holding a stack of official complaints. "Funny," she said, "all your so-called violations are under review. Looks like your own rules are turning against you." Karen's jaw dropped, eyes darting between the glowing pumpkin tower, her soaked blouse, and the gathering neighbors now whispering and laughing in unison. But the pièce de résistance was about to unfold. The motion sensors triggered one final surprise. A fog machine hidden behind my mailbox erupted, enveloping Karen in a thick, ghostly mist. The evening lights made her appear like a wraith from a horror movie, flailing and tripping over gnome sprinklers and her own shoelaces. Each stumble was punctuated by her own shrieking protests, recorded by every neighbor still filming on their phones. Then came the ultimate twist. One neighbor, a local artist, projected a giant image of Karen's furious face on the side of her own house using a drone and projector. The neighborhood erupted in laughter. Some clapped, some cheered. Karen's humiliation was now literally larger than life. I walked calmly through the mist, holding my iced tea, pumpkin tower intact, and waved to the cheering neighbors. "Next time, Karen," I said, "please check the bylaws before trying to confiscate joy." She froze, realizing her reputation and her control was gone. The HOA gossip mill would remember this night forever. Quiet triumph, poetic justice, and a perfectly executed comeback had never felt sweeter. And in the end, everyone watching learned a valuable lesson. Patience, wit, and a little creativity can turn even the nastiest bully into a cautionary tale. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Share this story with your loved ones, and tell us where you're watching from. It makes us happy to see how far our stories go.